So, welcome to room 100 and 104 of the Volpe Library at Tennessee Tech University. We may be on the first floor and a little bit hard to find, but we are definitely a hidden gem in regards to what's at the university. This is the archives and special collection. Normally, we would have exhibits in this space, but due to the pandemic, we had now are hosting our exhibits online as well as in the varsity. This clock that we're looking at here is actually the master clock that used to control all the other clocks on campus and keep time for classes. It's actually manufactured by IBM. You can see the rest of our reading room. This is where researchers come in to look over different archives. We host classes. We have researchers come in from a number of different places, which Jennifer Duar, who has a desk in the back, assists many of our patrons who come into the archives. We've recently been updating it to be more representative of the current student body, and we've been doing this by updating some of the artwork to some more recent canvases. You can see the Century #1 camera, which is from about 1902 and was included in the Harding Studios photograph collection. This camera is actually used with glass plate negatives. Now we're entering the workspace and also the space that we keep our supplies. You can see the card catalog on your right-hand side, and it actually documents a lot of individuals who had their photographs taken by Harding Studios, as well as biographical information of a lot of local individuals. In a normal year, there would be about 7 students a semester working in the archives. Got Hannah in the back there waving. She's the assistant archivist. And this is my work area. And although it looks like we're hiding, we're very accessible. We still have stop-ins, but we also answer numerous telephone calls and emails. This is some of our preservation supplies. Preservation supplies are one of the most costly processes that happens in an archives, but it's necessary for us to preserve materials for the future. This includes acid-free boxes and acid-free folders, and going through and removing all of the existing acidic supplies, including things such as staples. You can see the coffee grinder in the back here. And now we're entering the Joel Evans office. Joel Evans materials came to Tennessee Tech University in 1977. The materials themselves currently take up about 850 boxes, which you can imagine is about 450 linear feet, which is paper on its end going from left to right. The office itself contains part of this, which is a number of artifacts that were donated, including, if you look in the back left-hand side of the office, you can see the globe of the moon. Joel Evans, in his 30 years in office, did a lot to support the Upper Cumberland as well as Tennessee Tech University, but he was also on the House of Appropriations Committee and had a lot to do with NASA and the flight to the moon. We're exiting the Joel Evans office, and we're going to go and check out a couple other spaces here. This space is actually our clean space. When collections come to the university, we don't want to immediately put them with a larger collection. Most materials will go through a freezer process, and this is to keep things such as mold and bugs and insects out of our general collection. We come around the corner and we're going to go to our storage facility, but not before saying hello to Jennifer, who just so happens to be in the space now. Hello, Jennifer. And now we'll continue across. This is the largest project that I participated in construction in the archives since I started my position. This project was to separate us from the general library HVAC and provide the archives its own HVAC, as well as a larger space for us to continue to grow. This particular space has its own temperature and humidity control. It's cool. It's not for regular people to work in. It's solely for storing archives. And as you can see, it's doing that. We've got rows and rows of boxes. All these materials are cataloged. You can look on our online database and it'll point you to a box and a folder, and we can go retrieve that for patrons who are interested in using our collections. The room, if you look on the ground, you can see lines across the floor. These are rails, and this will provide us ample room to continue to add shelving and collecting and providing patrons with resources that are important to both Tennessee Tech University and the Upper Cumberland. You could also have a dance party in this space, but not with social distancing. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for thinking about giving to us during this Giving Tuesday.